Okay, welcome back to the Bishy podcast. We are absolutely delighted to have on with us today personal trainer, ex-professional footballer, bodybuilder, and host of the very successful podcast Flip the Mindset, Kenny MacKay. Thank you for joining us. How's things?
It's all right, man. My pleasure. Things are cold. I set up a gym out in the decking outside, and it's been the weather's been awful for the last 2 days. So I was sitting there earlier before this, contemplating going out there and getting soaked while doing some bicep curls. But no, things have been good. I mean, we're all in the same boat. We might not be in the same storm, but we're definitely all in the same boat during this, and it's been tough, very, very tough. I'm lucky I had my wee man, my family, so I had my wee man at the start of lockdown, and he's kept us going. He's kept us going all the way through this. See, if I didn't have him, he came in January the 22nd, just before, a month or two before when we heard about the virus, when actually just when he was born, and you're like that. Never coming here, is it, man? No chance. Coming here 3 months later, we're knee deep in the middle of lockdown, man. So, but without him, I don't know what I would have done without him, to be honest. I would have been very, very bored.
Yeah. I'm actually, just before you came on, John and Ellie were actually winding me up from Instagram. They said, that's not even your Instagram, it's just pictures of your wee one. So I had a wee girl in August there, so I'm in the same boat. If I didn't have her, I think I'd be the exact same. I'd be very bored. Life would be quite dull just now. So, yeah.
How's she doing? What stage she at?
So she's she's turning 6 months on Tuesday. So she's at that stage where she's teething. She's just wanting to just try and chew absolutely everything. But I think we're going to get her onto some solids soon. Well, I say solids. I think you need to kind of break it up and mush it up. But
don't keep them on baby food. He's eating all my dinners, man.
Get massive.
Honestly, I bought a hoagie and he eats half of it. he's only a year old and he's smashing half my hoagie, man. He's going to be bigger than me when he's older.
Who would have thought the Bishy podcast would have turned into Mamas and Papas? Yeah.
I know, Right, we'll get back to it then. So, how's your lockdown been then? What have you been doing to keep yourself kind of positive and busy, Kenny?
If I'm being totally honest, as I'm always honest in my platforms, and I've not been positive for the whole lockdown. Of course not. I don't think any of us have. We went through the motions at the start, weren't we? We turned into a house party, like Zoom professionals. Then we turned into bakers, didn't we all? We were all baking cakes and all that. Then we turned into cooks and chefs, showing off all our meals to Instagram. Then it was, what was it next? Home workouts. Who's done the best home workouts? It's been a journey, and then we get the football back, so that was okay. Yeah. But it was up and down, it was more me and the missus, not the wee man. The wee man's great, but I don't know if you guys will know or not, but if you're with a partner during this, you're with each other 24/7. She was in maternity. We're in the house with each other, and the house can get very, very small when you've got two fed up people in it, and then a screaming baby. So there was a couple of really down days, and I took a wee dip in my mental health just because I had to go and get major knee surgery. And then I was sitting about putting on weight in my bed for about a month. And I'm one of them guys that I struggle to sit still. I want to always be up doing stuff, helping people, kicking the ball, doing the gym. And I couldn't do any of that. I couldn't even play with my wee boy. So now I'm feeling better. It's all right, I try and make the best out of every bad position I'm in, every bad situation. I try and take the positive from every negative situation. So then now I'm trying to get things in place. So I thought, right, I can either sit here and let the world go by me during lockdown, or I can try and take courses to build the business. I can try and work on the podcast. I can learn how to do marketing for the podcast. I can try and learn some editing, as you see coming onto this Zoom call. I'm a technical dinosaur, so I need to work in that. And then I got a gym out in the. I got equipment, and my cousin gave me equipment, so now it's going to be time to train again. I just tried to better myself, because I think that's what we should have been doing. Because the first kind of 6 to 8 months, I think we all just sat there and kind of and didn't know what went on. I watched the whole of Netflix twice, and it was just. I think we need to make the most of it now. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's over to you, Ellie. You're going to ask the first question in kind of early days category.
Yeah. How did you find your school career? And like, did you stay on to 5th and 6th year, or when did you leave?
Oh, school, that was a long time ago. It was a long time ago. I love school. School was great. I was very, I had ADHD, very hyperactive. So my mum put me into loads of sports because it was always the teacher was saying he's quite bright, his personality's great, but he won't shut up. Basically, that was it. He won't shut up. He won't stop asking questions. And I loved school. Football is difficult to get to where I was, because I went pro youth with Green Up Norton in maybe 4th or 5th year, and then it was very, very difficult because you want to almost put more into your football than your studies, and you really need to balance them. And I maybe didn't have my mum always got to me, but I maybe didn't have the father figure. I never had a father growing up to maybe say, no, knuckle down a wee bit more. But I came out with a few hires. I stayed until 6th year. I was head boy in 5th year. I was deputy head boy in 6th year, which was pretty mental because I wasn't, as I was saying, I wasn't the smartest kid in the school, and I think all the more smarter kids the more intelligent kids were raging that I got it. But I think it was just because of my personality and my larger than life. The head teacher actually, I knew he hated me, man, because it was funny because I now talk to the deputy head teacher every day, Mr. Collins. He loves what I do. The head teacher didn't want me being head boy, because my best mate, Dom, he's now a surgeon. He wanted him it. He was like the golden. Well, you know how it goes, the golden boy. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. And it was great. I enjoyed subjects. It's interesting that this is like a PE podcast. That was my favourite subject. Probably the only subject I gave my all in. I was very like that. I played the bagpipes and the drums, so my main subjects were PE and music. I got a B in music in higher, and in PE the first year, I wrote 22. Is it still the same, Ellie? Is it still the same in the exams? PE, it's like 22 pages of work in the test.
Yes.
Brutal.
So much writing.
Brutal. Honestly, my hand was sore after that, man. But so the first time I wrote 22 pages and I actually got a C. So I went off in tangents a lot because I like to go off in tangents, as you know now. So Miss Henderson really liked me. That was my PE teacher. She was fantastic. Ex-professional hockey player, so she was. Okay. And she goes, no, you're sitting it again. I know you love this subject. I know you're good at it. You just obviously marked up. So I done it again and I get one of the highest marks in the school. So me and a boy called Andrew Cookmeister. And that was great, A for that. PE, I think maybe made my school time much better. I loved it. I loved the personal approach of my teachers in PE. I felt when you physical activity, you can get to know your teachers a bit more in personal education, I believe. And then you can really create bonds and learn a bit about yourself. And I got music and then a couple other subjects. But no, school was great. You miss school a lot when you leave. When you miss it, it's like a love and hate thing, isn't it? You miss it, but you don't like certain things about it. But listen, for me, it's still the best years of your life. You look back and these memories I had and all the silly moments and even the moments getting into trouble and stuff when you made a wee mistake. They're all brilliant, you know. It's good memories.
Did you have any like influential role models when you were growing up?
In the school or just as a whole?
Either, both.
My mum raised the three of us. Best wee women in the world. She had a really tough life and still came through with us. My brother, who's now passed away, he was my role model, not in school because he was. I think he left in like 4th year or something like that. He wasn't for school, you know. He was more of a trade guy. So not in that sense he was my role model, but he was different. He never let me do what he done. Do you know what I mean? Any mistake he made, he was so hard on me to, you've got to keep the straight and narrow, no drinking drugs, train hard, do your press ups, eat well, don't be getting chippies every week, stick in at school. If mum had said something about my grades or anything, he would give me a bashing, and that was good. Role models, Ronaldo, Brazilian Ronaldo, the real Ronaldo. Absolutely loved him. R9 used to get everything. I remember one time, it was 1998. I'm sure you might not remember Ellie, but I'm sure the boys will. 1998, and Brazil played Scotland.
Yeah.
And it was a big occasion in my family, a real Scottish family. And we're in the living room, and my Uncle John's there, Uncle Stuart, Nana, Papa, all the cousins, all get their Scotland tops on and the wee bonnets. No, I'm sitting with a number 9 Brazilian with the down top on. Yes, come on, Ronaldo! And he tore us apart that game. I can remember it. I think John Kennedy scored and Ronaldo scored one, and someone else scored. But yeah, who else was? My mum really protected me and kind of kept me in the straight and narrow. I'm trying to think of any other role models. My PE teacher, Mrs. Henderson. Hopefully she's watching this now. She meant a lot to me, and she really changed. She helped me change my mindset, flip my mindset through fifth and sixth year. She really helped carry me through school.
Brilliant. Kenny, I've got kind of the next question. I'm quite interested in terms of your earlier days, perhaps just kind of after school, and kind of any experiences from there that helped shape you into the person you are today.
What happened after school? What did happen? I was playing football. I get let go with Morton. Just like there was a big fiasco there, and I ended up getting let go from Green Morton, and then I actually took a year out. I was gathering my thoughts. I was a big piper, bagpiper that ran in the family, so I done a lot of pipe band stuff. I had a job in a shop called MacKay's. It wasn't, it's not my family shop or anything like that, and it's also a women's shop, so we won't talk about that. But I love that, to be fair, it got me talking about a lot of I'm showing them Brad and all that, like, this is good, Brad. Oh my God, absolutely brilliant. But what a laugh. I met so many people from that, and so many friends from that job. Then left that, and I went to Greenock Juniors. When you are in a small town like where I came from, Dunoon, you really have to go across the water if you want to get scouted or you want to kind of make it in the sport.
Can I just, sorry to interrupt you, Kenny, right? But see, Greenock Juniors football pitch is possibly one of the worst parts I've ever played on.
Ravenscray.
It's freezing. It's always raining. The pitch is horrible. It's always a battle. It's horrendous, man.
Kenny, I can't believe that it's taken us about 15 minutes for Mr. McHugh to pipe up and tell us that he plays junior football. That's basically what he's trying to do there. He's a semi-professional footballer. He always gets that across.
Listen, I enjoyed semi-pro junior football better than I did senior. Brilliant battle. We made it a fortress. I mean, I won the league once with them, and we got promoted the next year, finished second. So we actually skipped 2 leagues in my time there, and I scored something like 80 goals or something on that pitch. That pitch, man, yes. Loved it. Loved everything about it. Pitch was bobbly, wasn't it? But great place to defend games and stuff. And the boys are always, it's always a battle, boys down in Greenock. So I really learned my trade at Greenock. Really enjoyed it. A man called Alex Wilson was the chairman there. He became like my grandfather of football. He was absolutely, my grandpa was one of my biggest role models. I forgot to put that in there. We actually went for dinner there 3 times a week because he demanded my mum went there so he could help out. My nana and papa were very, very important to me. Anyway, the Greenock Juniors was great. It really was. Then in my last season, I was scoring the goals, and my brother had passed away and they gave me like a month, where they gave me as long as I needed off, and I was in a real bad place. And I came back to football, and they just made me feel so good, so welcome. So I just played everything. I just put everything into it, for them. And then that's when the kind of scouts came calling. Then I heard there was quite a lot of interest. I think we played Auchinleck Talbot in the cup. We played well against them, and then we had the last game of the season to win the league. Sorry, we'd already won the last game of the season to get the trophy. And I had teams like Stranraer, Kenny McDowell was there from Rangers, Annan and all that stuff. And I signed for Annan from there. And I was lucky enough to have a really successful first year in professional football. I picked up Player of the Year at Annan. I was up for the PFA Player of the Year as well. I got second in that behind Rory McAllister. I should have won that. I'm looking. And a really fun time before my kind of injuries started to kick in.
Could you tell us a wee bit about that? Because I was listening to something previously, like you told a story about that and how the injuries sort of kind of hindered you quite a bit,
Brutal. When everything's going so well and you start feeling wee creaks in your knees, just under the kneecap, and I'm like, what is that? What's going on? And it get worse and worse gradually. The AstroTurf pitch down in Annan didn't help, brutal training on it twice a week, going down there, practicing extra couple of days, playing your games, playing training games, and it was just wearing away. And I didn't really know what was wrong until it got a bit worse. I hope you're going to take the Stephanie Lowe away at the bottom of my screen when you edit that guy. I'm just noticing that.
But I can do it. I can edit it, so I can put a wee black square over that. And
brilliant, man. People will be calling me Stephanie over in Bishop Rig. They started getting worse and worse to the point where we were driving, because I still lived back home then, so I was making a 340 mile round trip to training, twice to three times a week, and then on the Saturday. And when I was in the car on the motorway, sometimes whoever was driving the car would have to stop halfway and let me out so I could release my legs, and I could walk a bit to walk it off. The pain I was in was unbelievable. I ended up taking loads of painkillers. Terrible decision from me, ibuprofen and that, to try and get the pain away, and I shouldn't have. I should have just got help. But at the time, the manager had put pressure on me that it was all in my head. And my injuries were all in my head. That's the Scottish way into it. We have many old school managers like that, and it can ruin people's careers like it did mine. So we do need to stop that. And then you start forcing yourself to live with the pain. I was in a really bad way. Obviously, your brother's died. You've not got that role model there anymore. Your mum's in a bad way. A mum losing a child, it shouldn't happen. A father losing a child, it shouldn't happen. And I'm struggling to cope. I'm turning up at training more anxious because my running style's changing because of how sore my legs are. And then I done my first injury where I had ruptured my patella and got my operation. Came back from that and it was a struggle. I just maybe thought something wasn't right. But by then I was kind of convinced off the manager that I should be playing through my injuries. And I maybe should have been stronger if I was in a different mindset. And I'd not been going through what I was going through. Looking back at it now, it's always nice to look back with a different perspective and think I would have just not played and I would have got the help. But they weren't willing to send me for that operation, so I had to wait in the NHS. I was lucky; it was a doctor on there that knew me and he kind of sped things up for me. And I got in, and then after that, I done it again. My knee snapped totally. Very, very tough. Very, very tough to take. I came back from that injury, signed for Queen's Park, and the big kind of try and rejuvenate my career, and I was flying. It was brilliant. They made me feel so welcome. Gus McPherson at the time, we had a lot of great players there. Jamie McKernan, Paul Woods, some really, really good players. And I was at training one night, and the ball came to me. I'd scored hundreds of goals in this game. We were playing these games, and I was flying. I scored about 6 goals in this training game. It was great. And the ball was pinging about, and we were so confident about winning the league, which they did go on to to win it. And I turned onto my left foot, went to shoot, and then my knee collapsed below me, snapped completely. Players were coming up like that and going and running away. And yeah, it's been tough. It's been really, really tough. I've really been put through it. But I couldn't feel sorry for myself. I had to keep going. It's difficult when football was my dream. It was my life. It was everything. I wanted to play. And then when my brother died, I wanted to play for my family as well. You feel like a sense of, I'm playing for my brother now. I'm playing to make my mum happy and proud. I'm playing to make my family proud and my friends. I'm playing to lift them. My best pal's mum had passed away as well with throat cancer, and we were playing for my best pal travelled everywhere to watch me. Used to travel to Peterhead, Annan, North Berwick, Carlisle, and you feel like you're letting him down as well. So it was really, really difficult, and a lot of players go through this with injuries, and maybe Paddy Ferguson, when I had him on the podcast, he talks about something being in place for injured players. We can't just leave them in the scrap heap. Yeah. We need to be there for them mentally. We need to support them more. There needs to be money put into a pot to get these guys operations sooner. We spend our money on plenty of other things. And yeah, that was kind of the gist of it after school.
Was there any highlights within that time? I know, you spoke a lot of low points in your career at that point, but was there any high points that sort of stuck out for you?
Lots. And that's the thing. There's always high points during a struggle, and sometimes you need struggle to make us stronger.
Yeah.
Winning the league with Greenup was phenomenal, and that was one of the best highlights of my life. The boys are, what it's like. All the Greenup boys are so passionate, and a lot of them are real tough, hard men. And winning with them, that made some of their lives. It was a great journey. Then getting promoted again. So we get promoted first, then we won the league the following year. Recovering. I recovered from mental illness. I took your family, a loved one dies. It's very, very difficult, especially your brother and your best friend. Recovering from that is my greatest achievement. I recovered from the lowest place I'd ever been. And with that, I flipped the mindset, and I've helped thousands of people along the way. We finished second in the league with Annan in my first year. We should have got promoted. I played terrible in the playoff final. Oh, dreadful. My anxiety took over, man. We all played dreadful, actually. We bottled it. A bit like Rangers last year. We absolutely bottled it. I got player of the year at Annan. Met all my kind of dream, my idols, met all the players, got to meet all the Rangers team. We had nights out with the football team with Newcastle team and Rangers team. I remember on the dance floor with Amiobi, and he's shaking and all that. Brilliant, these memories you'll not forget. I built up a successful personal training business. I done the personal training when I was injured with the gym, with the football. When you're injured, you're on the bike watching all the team play, you're in the gym, it's soul destroying. So I thought, right, what do you do something else? I'm putting on a bit of muscle here, I feel quite good. And I loved fitness, and I thought I'll need something to fall back on. And that was personal training, and now I've kind of became one of the most successful personal trainers in Scotland. I've helped bring mental health into my personal training, which not a lot of people do. And I encourage and help people to feel better about themselves, self-development, to structure their days better, like life coaching. It's something I've got some qualifications in, but I'm figuring out now if I want to go and do that for something different, But no, loads and loads of high points. I was very good at masking, so even though I was sad, I was involved in a lot of great things during that time, for sure.
I was listening to one of your podcasts last night, Kenny, and you'd said something that I thought was really interesting related to what you were saying there about personal training and mental health. You said that the vast majority, or a lot of people who are in the gym, you feel like they're trying to fill some kind of void I thought that kind of struck a chord. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, the 90% of the people in the gym are there for therapy. And that is incredible, and it's actually true. And when you actually talk to people in the gym, you get a sense of that. We're there to, unless we're there for the trend, you know, a lot of people just go for the trend, and just because it's something to do and it makes them feel as if they're getting fitter when they're not really doing it to get fit. They'll go and walk the treadmill for 10 minutes, do 50 sit-ups and walk out the gym. That doesn't work. But most people who are there, you know, and they're working hard and stuff, it's to fill a void. They've got, you know, whether it's grief, loss, they're a wee bit sad. Could be seasonal affective disorder. They've took a wee bit of sadness, depression because of the time of the year and the dark nights. Like it's 4:10 now and it's getting dark outside. You find it a lot, you know, and that's why a lot of people from the gym, you can get on with each other. You're all there for the same reasons. You almost see if you step back next time you're in the gym, step back, take a deep breath and look around and look at people. You can almost see them on their journey, you know, trying to feel better. And it's a place where a lot of people can go. What you notice is a person will go to the gym and then they'll go into a gym group, won't they? And they'll get loads of new friends from the gym because they're all there for the same reason. And it's a PT mentor. He's one of the most qualified guys in the UK, and he used to say, you know, most people you meet in the gym are there for a reason. So I kind of just reuse that, as you know, like the 90% will be there for therapy, and that's good because it is good. You know, it releases certain hormones and chemicals that make us feel better. We feel better about ourselves automatically from going to the gym. We're taking better care of our heart and lungs, you know, and it's a feel good. It's a really feel good factor as if you've achieved something.
Brilliant. Ellie, I think that's over to you. Question 6 in career.
Yeah. How would you describe like what you do within like the areas that you like promote, like mental health and like personal development?
It's difficult. I act like a bridge. So I built up a big platform through doing motivational posts, and I put a lot of studying into my posts, and I wanted them to strike chords. So really strike chords with people. Really write a post that can have someone thinking about it for the next 2-3 days. Do you know?
Yeah.
So I started posting them. I don't know if you remember the one, if you've seen the one with Will Smith and the Kanye one, and it went all over the world. Get shared about 20,000 times. And I done one on fat shaming and anxiety and domestic abuse, all these, and suicide, all these subjects that are so taboo that we don't feel comfortable talking about. I believe we need to get more comfortable talking about these uncomfortable subjects. And we can do that by talking about them more. Suicide, the podcast last night, it's had 3,000 views already and thousands of downloads since it came out last night. Because we need to talk about these subjects more. If someone's feeling sad or struggling with their education, or especially the now with everything that's up in the air, talk about it. We need to talk about it. We need to get better, especially men. So I looked into men's mental health. I do it with I work with men and women, but influence, and I really, really think we need to have more focus on men. The statistics of mental health in men are so alarming. So I started acting like a bridge. I done a Talk About It Tuesday thing where people would meet me at Costa and we would just talk. I'm not a mental health professional, you know, I'm not a qualified psychologist. I would just relate to them through my experiences of being in dark places. And people love that. See if they don't feel they can relate to it. Many people don't feel they can relate to their doctor, you know, because the doctor's first thing they'll say is, right, I'm going to send you here, or here's some medicines, you know, and loads of people will be in that. That doesn't mean don't go. You have to go and see your doctor to kick it off. But a lot of people don't feel comfortable maybe going and see someone so formal. They might feel more comfortable going and seeing someone in an informal way. That could be an auntie, that could be maybe a stranger like me who's putting theirself out there to say, yeah, I'll have a talk with you. So basically just to talk to someone, and when I talk to them, I will send them to their doctors. I can kind of encourage them to go to their doctors, go and see someone. I know a lot of people like Chris's house, Sam's, Brothers in Arms, huge charity that I'm doing work with now, and I'll just encourage them to go. And it's amazing the amount of people who have came through me and went to these places would never went to them before and changed their life. And that's what I kind of got known for more and more. People been able to talk to me like a human. I don't judge, I don't care what anyone's been through or what anyone's done. I've been there, you know, I've had really highs and really, really high highs and really low downs. And it nearly ruined my life not going and speaking to someone, because I felt I couldn't. It wasn't really as popular at that time, you know, it wasn't really as out there at that time. Not popular, sorry, it wasn't really out there as that time. The service weren't in front of you as much as they are now, which is a good thing now. But if I spoke to someone and let it out and spoke to my mum and that much sooner, I would have changed my life so much quicker. So it's about people who are suffering, go and get the help. There's no shame in going to get help. You know, it's about making people realise it's okay to be sad once in a while, you know. It's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to not be happy all the time. You're not going to be positive all the time. And when you're at school, you might not be positive all the time right now through your studies. But what you have to be is disciplined. And you have to have structure. You know, these things take over. See, whenever I'm not positive, and I wake up and you're like, can't be going to the gym today, I'm just going to eat cakes for breakfast. The discipline in me then goes, no, Ken, weekday. Get outside, train, and have your 2 glasses of water, which I have every morning. Go and do your food therapy. Because your brain cannot be positive all the time. It's just, no, we're not programmed like that. You know, our brain's programmed to prefer the negative over the positive, so we need to keep training it. We need to keep thinking it. Like, keep thinking positive, keep believing positive, keep training positive, realising it's okay not to be okay, you know? And it's just getting these messages across to people, because people really don't know, and people don't know who to reach out to. So it's not that they reach out to me for help, it's that they reach out to me as a friend to talk to. And I just say a few things. And then my other part of what I do is I promote loads of mental health stuff. So I promote fundraising, anything to do with companies. I'm getting involved with a few companies in fronting campaigns and schools, like I said to you guys. I can't say much about that now. And I talk to schools. I've got another school, and I'm making a video for a school in Easterhouse, and it's about pupils not feeling that they can go and have a great life because maybe they've came from a lesser background, or they've came from a rough area. How can't they go and do this? I came from a rough area. I didn't have too much growing up, and you know, I went and changed my life. It is possible. So it's everything I do, kind of mindset, mental health, the podcast. The podcast is a platform of hope for people struggling with the pressures of modern day society. And like your social media is like pressure to look good all the time, like the pressure to pretend you're someone else on social media and show your Ferrari that's actually a toy car that you take a wee pic of in the driveway, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that kind of sums it up.
Sorry to interrupt there. John, are you okay? I'm just going to see if you just carry on. I'm getting about 6 missed calls from my girlfriend there, so I just want to make sure that she's okay and she's not stranded somewhere, all right? I'll get my backside kicked.
That's because you've not done the dishes.
Kerry, I'm just kind of following on for that. Is there any sort of techniques or type of training that you do for that mental health?
Yeah, like stuff like CBT, sorry.
I mean, like in terms of for supporting people.
What do you mean, like
techniques that perhaps you use to kind of overcome the mental health or any anxiety or anything like that?
Personal ones.
Yeah.
The main thing is talk about it. Mm-hmm. I write it in the Flip the Mindset ebook that I'm bringing out soon, and then I'm going to get qualified in some stuff, so I can kind of take a larger stance on it. Talk about it. Talk. The best thing I do is talk. See if anything's on my mind with the missus, I'll talk to her straight away. I can't. They'll never hold it in. and then it builds up and festers, and you get yourself into all this. People say, but how can that make your mental health better? Of course it can. Most most poor mental health, poor causes of mental health is not talking. It's just we don't talk. We hold it in. I don't feel I can talk to them. Oh, I don't want to burden them. Talk about it. Just talk, because they can do it to you. It doesn't just go you and them. It goes round and roundabouts. They might feel because you've talked to them one day, if they're really struggling, they'll talk to you. But even techniques is huge. I had panic attacks and stuff. I've been reading that a lot of students have been getting panic attacks and stuff at this moment during this kind of unsettling year. And I had to learn loads of breathing techniques for that. I do meditation. Meditation is quality. Now, everyone's going to, I know what school pupils are like. They're going to look at a meditation, get to, man. What are you talking about? That's what I said to my producer. My producer is also a mental health counsellor, so I take a lot of him as well, and I learn from him. Talks to me quite a lot. Meditation, used to look at it and go, rubbish, doesn't work. You have to make it work. You have to be in the frame of mind. You want to meditate. You're going to listen how to meditate, and you're going to give the time to meditate. It's not going to work in a day. It's not going to work in a week. Over a few weeks' time, you will feel the difference massively. It's like cold water therapy, the now that everyone's doing. If I'm up my bin tonight and I'll jump in it for about 10 minutes. It's horrible, but it's phenomenal. And it doesn't just work overnight. It takes time and you feel better and better. But meditation, huge. And even just YouTube videos, beginners meditation, and make it, if you go and it's like, make it, it's a man or woman you can't relate to, and they're on the Bahamas on a beach, with a thong on or something. The man's there with his long hair, he's meditating, and you can't relate to him, then don't do him. Yeah. Change it. It's actually a bodybuilder I meditate with, because I can relate to him. All right, he's doing that, man. What's he up to? And he kind of goes through the same stuff. So search YouTube, try and find you like, and if it does work, and it doesn't work for everyone, if it does work for you, it will help change your life and control your thoughts. What meditation does is allow you to regulate all your thoughts, regulate everything that's going wrong. Right, so I had a bad morning, I'm worried about this interview, blah, blah, blah. You meditate, you think about it, and you actually come up with wee bits like, okay, so the interview's when? Right, the interview's on Friday, right, so why am I worrying now? I've got 4 days to do something about it. I'm going to do this, I'm going to plan this, I'm going to plan that, and then I'll be ready for it. Straight away after that meditation, you're like, all right, cool, what was I worrying about? It could be certain worries over your girlfriend or boyfriend. Just think, well, what's going to happen's happened. If I stress about it now, I'm going to put more impact on the relationship. And you just regulate stuff, and it's a really good way of helping me. I've struggled this week to make the time for it, so today's my day off. So I'm definitely going to do it tonight for sure. Breathing techniques is huge. There's actually a guy I can give you his. I can't remember his Instagram. He's a professional breathing instructor, and he's getting really. He's getting into sport now, so he's going to be helping footballers. I know a lot of tennis players and some American stars have had breathing therapy to get them to regulate their breathing, to make them feel better before big games and stuff like that. So these things are coming to the forefront now as more relative to our generation. We're understanding we need to kind of have good mindsets now. The world's a bit mental. We need these good mindsets. We need to keep positive. We need the tools. I think this is a big thing. Everyone comes to me and I say, listen, I can just give you a wee bit of help, and then you can go and see a psychologist. Well, I can talk to you and just relate to you. Here's my experiences. Did they relate to yours? Right, okay, they do it. Amazing. Yeah, I know what that feels like being alone. Yeah, I know what that feels like. Straight away, you get a wee bond, and then you can say, right, okay, well, I went and seen him, or I went and done this. Why don't you give them a wee phone? Here's Samaritan's number. Why don't you give them a wee phone? What have we got to lose? Yeah. Because we feel like we've not got the tools. Mm-hmm. But when we do get a wee bit of the tools, and someone goes, well, what about meditation? What about CBT? What about exercise and stuff like that? What about writing a diary? What about structuring your day better? All these stuff. You start getting tools to what about your struggling with your diet? Okay, when you wake up in the morning, run downstairs, drink 2 large glasses of water. Now, what that does is you've been sleeping for 8 hours, so you're going to be a wee bit dehydrated, of course. So it hydrates you, but it also makes you fuller. You know, if you ever drank 2 big glasses of water consecutive, you feel full. You're automatically not going to eat as much. Wee things like this is just tools to make you feel better in your day, because as I say, we're all in the same, we're not all in the same, we're all in the same boat, but we're not in the same storm.
No, it's a great message. There's loads of fantastic messages in there, Kenny, but it's something that I can only echo as well. I think mental health at this moment in time, especially for our kids, is sky high. But I think it is really important to recognise that it's not just them that's fighting the battle. You know, there's other people out there that are still struggling. But as you say, talk, seek the help, and try and recover from it. You know, so absolutely. I think Mr. Johnson is back, and we're moving on to the
apologies, folks. I'm going to have to shoot off because I think she's stranded, so I'm going to have to go and rescue her. Aye, so I'll leave the three of you just to finish it off. But Kenny, just thanks very much again for agreeing to this and for joining us. And sorry, I apologise that I need to leave, but
make the host before you go. So I'll kind of carry on. Obviously, I want to move on to the podcast now, Kenny. It's obviously taking off, it's going arms and legs. How did that come about? How did it start?
Well, another reason I built up the platforms, Instagram being my biggest platform, was I started talking on the stories, you know, the wee story bits. And I started talking, and I was just talking like, I was just talking. Like, I would go on and talk for 20 minutes. So people would click on my thing and they'd probably get sick of like going through 100 stories, and it was just me talking about my mental health and their mental health and how motivated I was and how motivated they could be and why they're doing this or why they're not doing that. And I just talked a load of rubbish, and people loved it. People could relate and resonate with it. People would and people would mail me like, thanks, you've made my day better. You've really gave me belief in myself. And I thought, okay, maybe got something here where I can reach out and help people. So I kept doing it. And then I tried to regulate it, and then I learned more. I've done wee courses online and just kind of, I got passionate with it. I remember one time I done a post, and then I had a story talking about it, and I got 300 messages on Instagram from people who could relate and who really took something positive from it. And from there, that was it. I was doing this every day. When I was coming back from my mental health problems, I promised my brother at his graveside that I would try and change the world. And I says, I'm going to start helping people now. I says to him, it's weird because my nana and my mum and my papa used to do everything for everyone else. And sometimes you thought, well, they'll maybe take the biscuit out of you and stuff like that. And my nana used to always tell you, that's life. You help each other. You know, we all need to come through this together. If you go to your grave, or you're in your deathbed in later years and you've inspired and touched loads and loads of lives through that, then that's a great place to be, instead of maybe having £1 billion in the bank and you've touched no one's life, you know. That's life. That's what you're going to be remembered by. You're not going to be remembered by your Lamborghini, your Ferrari, your this and that, your looks, your how many just how much you've got or how big your house is. No one remembers that. They remember who you are, how you are. You notice someone always say, oh, that guy was, you see it in a lot of programs, or that guy, I remember his, that guy that had the big house up the street, he was a right sod, him, you know what I mean? And it's always, you know, we remember for the effect we have. So I thought, I'm just going to help people. I'm just going to make my whole life about helping people. I'm going to take care of myself as well, personal training and stuff like that. And I'm going to take care of my family. Of course, I need to do that and be comfortable that way and provide for them. But all my other energy I've got, I said, why don't I change lives and try and change lives and try and get people, try and stop people from going to the places where I went.
No, definitely. It's a special feeling making that difference in somebody. Certainly, I can echo that. I think with the podcast, sorry, I didn't even talk about the podcast. Yeah, I was doing the talking bits in the story, and then I seen a few podcasts about, you know, the Bishy PE podcast.
What you saying?
The Bishy PE podcast.
Seen the Bishy PE podcast, and I thought, wonder if I could do something like that. I put it on my Instagram and I said, I'm thinking of starting a podcast. And a producer who followed my page gave me a text and says, I've been meaning to text you this for years, just didn't know if you were up for it. I think you'd be perfect doing the podcast. You come across so genuine, you're so honest, and you talk and you keep it flowing. So he says, why don't we make a podcast together? And then we got together, and we were on the same boat, right? He's a mental health counsellor. He cares about people. He's not just interested in making millions of pounds, and because obviously some of my contacts through it's more through what I've built on Instagram and stuff. I've kind of resonated with a lot of footballers or people, journalists and stuff. Not so much journalists, but people in good places that could help me get loads of different clients on. And we've really blasted. I mean, we were in the charts 4 episodes in, and we were right up the charts. It was crazy. The original reason I wanted to do the podcast, I don't know if you've seen the episode last night that went out.
I've not seen it. It's a couple, is it?
Last night, no, it's not a couple. Last night it was 2 normal people.
Right.
One of them had a really, really tough childhood. His parents were drug addicts and stuff like that. He grew up really rough and transformed his whole life, and he tells a great message. It's phenomenal. Other one's husband committed suicide 6 months ago. And so they were talking about suicide, what it leaves behind, and why we need to talk more. And I wanted to interview loads of normal people. I mean normal, I mean everyday people, not high profile superstars all the time. That's what I wanted to do. But see, if you do that without a platform, nobody goes on to listen. We're weird as humans, aren't we? We don't listen to anyone unless they've got a big platform. Yeah. I've not listened to them, you know what I mean? But then I had a big platform. I thought, right, okay, I can introduce this now. So we introduced it, and it flew. First couple of hours, 3,000 views, thousands of downloads, and it's grown now. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to interview the odd star, and then in between them, do shorter episodes with just people like me and you. How did you get past your fears? What did you have? What happened to you? Right, I lost my mum. Right, man, there's a guy coming on who's had a fantastic life. He's not really had anybody, and that's phenomenal. You know what I mean? We don't hear of that often.
Yeah.
And he's going to come on and talk about how maybe he keeps things flowing like that, and how his mind doesn't get affected with social media and all that stuff. So just loads of different people who have been through loads of different stuff, so it can resonate with thousands of people. They can pick up in 1 or 2 podcasts and go, that's me. This is how we do it. This is how we beat it. I'm maybe doing this wrong. Fix that. Correct this. A bit like resetting. Do stuff like I do a lot of reading now on like resetting your life, like just doing a reset. Like if you're not in the job you like, or you're not in the career you want, or the relationship or whatever, friendships, you reset it. What's going wrong? You break it down. What's going wrong? Is it affecting me well? Sorry, is it affecting me positively or negatively? What needs to be changed? Make them changes and go again. So these things are very, very important. Time consuming, but we're here for a long time, hopefully.
Ailey, I think you'll get the next question.
Yeah. What's like your ultimate goal for the Flip the Mindset podcast?
Oof.
By the way, that's a good question.
I've got an ebook I'm writing, and someone's asked me to write a book, and I'm not the best at writing, like for long periods. I can't hold my attention for too long. I listen to audiobooks because I struggle to read constantly. My eyes just water. See, when I'm reading, my eyes just water, and then it annoys me. So my eyes just keep watering. Try and read audiobook all day, listening to thousands of them. So I would need to get someone to do it, and I would just tell them the story. But I want it to be massive in the fact that I want it to be someone's get out. If someone feels down when they will listen to the Flip the Mindset podcast, even if they saw it 10 times that episode, someone feels, I want it to be something that gradually and slowly changes people's mindsets over time. We're trying to structure it like a big ladder, and bring new values in, new methods and all that stuff. And life's not all doom and gloom. You know, life is special. It's beautiful. We can do so much with our lives. You know, we just need to realise that and use our tools, make our tools. Sometimes all the tools are lying in front of you. You just can't see them because you're clouded by, you know, by lack of motivation and stuff. So I want it to be just where it is, a platform of hope for people struggling with the pressures of modern day society. I want it to be on a massive scale, not just help young kids, not just help older people, not just help middle-aged adults, help everyone. I would like to see it as something like a professional sports star could come on and go, oh wow, I could relate to him, I can relate to this guy, I could relate to them. Or the lovely woman that works in my local shop, she's brilliant. Her, if she went on and just, you know, and it lifted her. That's what I want from it.
Real life stories, that it's real life stories from real life people.
Yeah, because that's what we get, all this filtered rubbish of many celebrities, and I love getting my celebrity guests on and bringing them to our level. I say to them before it, say, I need you to be our level. I need you to be open and honest and just say it how it is, because that is the only way the public are going to be able to relate to you. And they do that because we can't relate to these superstars and what we just can't relate to that. We've not got the money to go and pay for private therapists and all that stuff, you know. But if they lay everything out openly and honestly, we can actually pick and learn from them and relate. And yeah, real people, real stories. There's actually a girl who does, she goes, Wee Stories from Wee People, I think it's called. Unbelievable podcast. She's brilliant. She's absolutely brilliant. And she does the same kind of thing. No, what Wee Stories from Wee People. I don't think they're wee people, but I think that's just, it's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like you've always actually interviewed. It's just Wee Stories with wee people. I think it's that, and it's phenomenal. Even I've learned a lot of her, so yeah, that's what I want from it.
Brilliant. We're going to tie things up with another couple of questions, if you don't mind, Kenny. But I don't know if you want to answer this in two parts, but I'm quite interested in terms of any messages that you've got for perhaps pupils, but then also some messages for staff and parents who watch this as well. Or you can answer it together.
About lockdown?
Just messages of kind of how to support, or I don't know, something.
Yeah, for the pupils, it's a bit mental now, isn't it? It's a bit of a mental time, let's be honest. Stuck in the house, morning down morning at you, and it's raining outside. It's not nice. You've got worries about your exams, you've got worries about staying on a year, whatever's going to happen with you guys. But listen, you're here for a long time, and we need to make the most of it. As I say, don't be standing still or you'll be caught with the headlights. Make the most of everything now. Remember, you're not going to be positive all the time. That's when your discipline and that kicks in. If you can't be bothered doing that test, and you can't be bothered revising to that test, remember why you're doing it. What's the end goal? You know, remember, we can only be in the present. Too many of us worry about the future. I used to be terrible at this. I would worry about the future and I would regret and beat myself up all day about things that happened in the past. The past is done. You know, the future's not here yet. I've got no control over the future. We can't control what happens tomorrow. So why worry about it? What we can do is focus on what's in front of us. We can focus on what's in front of us. We can reflect on the past positively if we want to, you know. Don't beat yourself up now. It's not your fault. This is all happening. You know, it's no one's fault. It's just whatever your beliefs are, it's just the way it is, right? If you find yourself, you know, if you find yourself outside now and it started bucketing it down, it's not your fault. You know what I mean? It's just where you are now. You need to make the most of it and run home. So yeah, it's all positive from me. The teachers, yes, of course. I trained 2 teachers who are, one of them's guidance teacher at Bishop Riggs Academy, BSN Academy, another one's a teacher there, geography teacher. And yeah, you know, it's hard for them as well. It's hard for everyone now. So for pupils and teachers, yeah, just be nice to each other. It's hard for everyone. We are all in the same boat. Yeah, we might not be in the same storm, but we need to help each other more. We need to make things easier for each other. The easier we make things for each other, the more smoothly things run. You know, it's difficult. Life's not the same now, but listen, I've set up wee gyms outside, or I was lifting stones at one point. I get my mates from the yard to bring a big stone round so I could shoulder press this awkward thing in the world, man. Shoulder pressing this stone, you know, getting better at cooking. Give yourself a chance. I'm learning some Spanish now. I'm terrible. I can't say 2 words, but I'm trying.
Oh, you've got to use a bit of Spanish, and you can't drop that. Then don't get away.
No chance, man. But I'm trying to learn a wee bit of that. First, I was going to learn Mandarin, but that is impossible. Oh my goodness, couldn't learn that. And if you're looking at it, look up Mandarin, like how to learn Mandarin. Oh, it's complicated. So, because I like to go to Spain a lot, I've got family in Spain, so I'm thinking when this is all over, I'll learn a bit of Spanish and I'm over, and my cousin will be so surprised that I'm speaking to the waiters and all that. Things like that, guys. Listen, we're only in control of what's in front of us, one day at a time, one step at a time. Don't beat yourselves up.
Absolutely. Ellie, do you want to take the finisher?
Sure.
Wait, then?
The one about your podcast guests, yeah. If you had 3 podcast guests, who would they be and why?
Use free.
Us two, he's bolted.
I would love to have Amy McDonald. I think she's an ex-pupil with Bishop Briggs.
Aye.
Yeah.
I would love to have Lewis Capaldi. I thought I was getting Lewis on. I love him. He's brilliant. Because I got Lewis to do a wee video for someone, and that went kind of viral on Instagram as well, and it was very touching. And I'd love to get Kevin Bridges. Kevin Bridges. All kind of local. You know, anyone else I would take with a pinch of salt, because I don't want to think too far ahead to, you know, I can relate to them, and I think all of us in Scotland can relate to them. If the podcast was to go worldwide, I would want to get on well, someone's coming on very, very soon that people will be like, oh my God, one of my idols. So Scotty will love it, so he will. He's coming on next week, which is class. I would love to go on maybe Tyson Fury to learn about Tyson. Cristiano Ronaldo would be fantastic, and Roger Federer.
Super. Kerry, that is us. We're all kind of questioned out. Thank you so much for your time. It's been very timely, I think, as we enter or as we're in the midst of National Children's Health Week. So thank you very much for joining us and sharing some of your stories. So thank you.
That's absolutely my pleasure.
Ellie, another smashing job, making a 3rd appearance as co-host. So well done, Ellie. Hopefully back at school sooner rather than later.
Hopefully.
What are you playing for, John?
Villa Clyde.
How's it going?
It's obviously cut the season just now, so
you get a chance to change it when you get back then.
Well, hopefully.
Get yourself a winner's medal.
Don't know about that. But no, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Check out this episode and all our other episodes on Spotify and on our Twitter page at Bishy and on YouTube. Thanks very much. Take care, folks. See you later.